Super Cardiff City.
Look, only thing showing this late be the freak show. Call for your cum, I be checking through the peephole. Everything closed this late, but your contacts. Here to catch a vibe, you might catch a little contact. Only thing showing this late be the freak show.
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome back to Ace Podcast Nation and a special Cardiff City preview ahead of the start of the season. And I am joined by the legend that is former Cardiff City defender, Mr. Derek Brazil. How are you, my friend? You good?
I'm very good, very good. I've had a good summer. Played a couple of games.
Yeah, the weather's been amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been hard for you. You've been travelling everywhere. You've been
all
over the place.
A lot of it's been work as well.
Yeah.
So, I played a couple of games with United Legends and stuff like that. I even changed my name. I meant to say to you.
Oh, was it?
I've changed my position now.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
So I don't play at the back. I play in the front of the back four. So I've changed my name to Brasimiro now.
Oh, there we go then.
So,
there we go.
Yeah.
Just strutting, gliding around the pitch.
I wouldn't say gliding.
Him,
I wouldn't say. I'm just happy to get my shirt on. It fits.
Just sort of stand in the middle, directing traffic.
Yeah, just sit and spray. SAS, isn't it?
Nah, that's the way. Cardiff City, mate. New manager, new era, new season.
Another new manager, another new era, another new season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the negative out of the way first, right? My worry is that if he doesn't get off to a good start, say he loses 8 and draws 2, he'll be gone. So it won't matter who he's brought in, what he's worked on all pre-season. If he gets off to a bad start, they're just in this habit now of getting rid of managers without a plan of who they're going to bring in. I got no problem. If you don't think the manager's the right person, make the decision. Don't care if it's 2 games in or 20. What I don't want to see you do is sack your manager. No one really knows why, and you have got absolutely zero plan about what's going to happen going forward, because that's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, you what the club needs now is stability.
Yes.
Badly. And you would hope that the lessons from last season will be learned in terms of we had 3 managers last season.
Yeah. Do you know why Steve Morrison got sacked? I ask everyone this because I still don't know.
I kind of.
All right. Okay.
But I can't. I'm not allowed to say.
No, you could tell me after.
Yeah. But I think the stability's there. I mean, I don't think it helped at the start of the season last year of so many loanees coming in and free transfers. There was a lot. There was like 16, 17 last year.
Yeah,
so that wouldn't have helped. And then obviously, I mean, if you look at someone like Callum Robinson, who's a good signing for us at this level, he had 3 managers in the space of 7 weeks.
Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely mental.
And as a player, if that's happening, it does affect how you play in the game, and it does affect your day-to-day of like that uncertainty of what's happening. I think the club now, hopefully, have learned from last season that, okay, they brought Balut in. Is it Balut? Bulu. So they brought him in. His signings, a big signing was Aaron Ramsey. That's a big statement by the club. I mean, will Aaron play every game this season? I doubt he'll play every game this season. There'll be certain teams he probably won't play against, but his fitness is good. He played a lot of times for Nice last year, 30 times or whatever, but it's a different league.
Yeah.
Whereas the Championship takes no prisoners, and you're talking Saturday, Tuesday. Whether Aaron will be able to sustain that, I don't know. So that's going to be a big thing for the manager to balance that out. But I'm sure with Aaron Ramsey, he'll work it out with him. We've lost some good players in Philogene. I thought Philogene was outstanding last year. Kipri.
Yeah,
again, he was good. But then bringing the lad McGuinness back, that was good to bring him back because he's outstanding. It's about getting a settled team this year, and because last year, whether it was the change of managers or whether it was the manager at the time not knowing his best 11, I think it's important that Baloo has got to know his best 11 and start with it. And whatever system he wants to play, if he's playing out for the back, but stability is the biggest thing the club need now. And I think the fans want stability as well. They don't want, like, I know fans moan and go, oh, the manager's rubbish, get rid of him, but I think they're a little bit fed up with that as well.
It's just, you don't want to become like
you've got it, this manager, you've got to give him, and I see you can say give him a season, because if things are going wrong, you have to make decisions and change.
Of course.
But, you know, the new manager, he needs at least 15, 20 games.
Of course he does. Well, this is what I said last night on a show. I said, in the ideal world, because someone asked me where I think Cardiff will finish. And I said, listen, in the ideal world, Cardiff will finish top 10 this year. Next year, they will push for the playoffs. And then the year after, they will be pushing for automatics. And it will be the same manager who is slowly, with each transfer window, like we can spend money again in January. So he will be able to get his own players. But I said, I don't have the confidence in the club to sustain that. And also, the Championship is so mental that if you jumped in a time machine now and you told me that at the end of the season Cardiff got relegated, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you also told me that Cardiff finished second, I probably wouldn't be surprised either, because it's just so crazy. And I think actually he's got a pretty good team at the moment on paper. We'll see how it kind of gels and develops. My worry is I see a lot of people, like Joe Rolls has done quite well before he got a knock recently. I don't think you can play Wintle and Rolls and Ramsey. I just don't think it's got enough legs. I was looking at, for instance, Leeds, which is this Saturday. They're playing Ampadu and Archie Gray, who's like 18. And then they got like a 3 in front of them who are all in like their early 20s. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking they have got far too much pace and energy and legs, as well as quality. Like Aaron Ramsey is a very clever footballer, but he needs legs around him.
I think he'll be playing a forward role, Aaron, this year.
Yeah, he's playing the number 10, I think, wouldn't he? But they need the two behind to be... I think Wintle's a really good...
Great, he was brilliant last year.
Good in the Derek Brazil role, just in front of the defence.
I we could do the same one.
But I think next to him, you need someone who can go box to box, get about a bit, be quite aggressive, but also can pass the ball. Do you know who would have been perfect for that? Ethan Ampadu. But we didn't.
But then you look at someone like Leeds, who could probably afford the higher wages.
Yeah, of course.
Leeds will be, they'll be up in the top 3 or 4 this year.
I think they've got a good chance.
There's a lot of pressure on this week to perform as well at home against Cardiff, and we know the old rivalry, which between the two clubs. So the atmosphere will be unbelievable there. Yeah. But I kind of agree with you as well. Like Joe's brilliant. He's a brilliant servant for the club. Towards the end of last season, he started to get moved out to the left a little bit, which he did a good role in that. But I think the manager is going to have to monitor the amount of games Aaron Ramsey plays, the amount of games Joe Rawls will play. The type of player they are. I think the spine of his team has to be spot on.
Yeah. In
this league, the spine of your team has to be the same every week if you can. And the difficulty is that with Joe and maybe Aaron, you can't play them every 3 days, 4 days.
Do you think? So I made a bit of a statement the other week. I said I'm Ruben.
You're always making bits of statements.
I know. I talk too much shit.
There's another bombshell coming out now.
No. So I said this season for Ruben Corwell in terms of his Cardiff City career could be make or break, because he didn't really play last year. Played a few minutes here and there. The season before was kind of his breakout season, where he came in halfway through the season, played well, got in the Wales squads. It might have been even the season before that, but he didn't play much last year. And now I look at that and I think, wow, you've got Aaron Ramsey. You're guaranteed Aaron Ramsey hopefully will play about 30 games this year, but that still leaves probably 20 in the league and cup to play. That could be a good opportunity for Ruben Corwell to make 15, 20 starts this season and show what he can do.
I think that's down to the manager, isn't it? And the manager, of course, yeah. How does he... It's finding that blend of when to play Ruben, because he's undoubtedly a fantastic talent.
Yeah.
Last year you had you went away to Wales, for the World Cup, and I know he came on for the last bit, but generally just sitting around for a month.
Course, yeah.
They don't really do any intensive training. So when he come back, he was a little bit off it, but there's no doubt the talent is there. He's finding his right position, which I believe is probably in that number 10 role. Too many times last season he was bumped out to the right.
Yeah.
where he ended up like chasing back to right back, trying to. You don't want him chasing back
No.
as a
You need him
wing
in
back.
space, don't you? In the
So
pockets.
I think the manager. The good thing about the manager is this year is that the fans will be there from day one, first game. They will be there and they will give the manager every chance to go and do it. And if Cardiff City fans, if they like what they see and it's maybe not coming off, they'll persevere.
Yeah.
You just hope that he does find the right balance within the team in terms of experience and the young players. And the one thing I can say to Cardiff City players that are probably just joined the club or been here a year is that you play well for the club and you give 100%, and the fans will adore you forever.
Yeah.
But the manager has a big. I mean, I looked at the betting the other day for us, and I think we're still quite high in the betting.
Mental.
Which,
But then every preview you read, like an article or something like that about the championship, we're always in the relegation contenders. So it doesn't correlate to the betting. But the bookies don't get stuff wrong, do they?
No,
generally speaking.
Like, there's no run away from the fact that first 4 or 5 games are really
Brutal.
difficult.
Yeah. Oh God, mate.
They are really. And now, if it happens that we can get a couple of wins and a draw out of those first 5, brilliant start.
All day.
But the teams are like pretty decent. I can't off the top of my head. You should know this. This is your show.
I should know. But I focused on the Leeds game. I know. Ask me anything about Leeds team, I can tell you for once.
I know, but I do know the next 4. Because remember when the fixtures come out, I was like, I thought, whoa.
God, he's going to be gone after 4 games.
I didn't think that. I just thought that is a difficult start.
Yeah, and
Especially with you're blending a new team together.
it's difficult now.
Because a lot of teams in the championship more or less have the same 9 players that played last season who did well.
Yeah,
And
and
they
then
bring 2 in.
loans and
Whereas we probably start with 5 or 6 new players.
Yeah, so I think if you look at this, if you kind of go through the general side, which I'm guessing obviously because you don't know what the manager's going to do, I think it'll be all slop in goal, and then I think NG goes back out to right back now.
Yeah.
Although if McGuinness is injured, I'm playing NG at centre back because I'd rather have NG at centre back and Romeo on the right back than I would have Simpson in the middle. Not a fan of Simpson. He makes me nervous.
I like Simpson because he's left-footed, so he's a
I
natural
can see
left-sided centre back. And I
Just
think
makes me nervous, man.
I think he was like I like Jack because he's that blend of a left-sided centre back.
Mm.
He was unfortunate a couple of times getting sent off last year, which never a red card. A QPR
yeah,
in particular, ridiculous. But he might be another one that just needs a run of games and a bit of confidence.
There's
as well,
a few, I think, like that in there.
He can ping a ball. I mean, Romeo as well. Romeo played in midfield for it towards the end, and I was impressed with him there.
Yeah, you think he's a good footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very good footballer, and I think left back. Who's going to start at left back?
I think O'Dowd will play left back because
See,
I
prefer
don't think they've got
O'Dowd
a
further
faith.
forward.
Yeah, I do. Well, this is the thing. I assumed they signed Joel Bagan, didn't they, to a new contract?
Yeah.
So I assumed he was going to be the left back. O'Dowd is the best winger at the club, so I assumed he'd be the winger.
Yeah.
But they've just brought in that Josh Bowler from Forest, who's an absolute phenomenal winger. He's a traditional winger, can beat a man. Exactly what we need is a bit of pace.
But we need O'Dowd. I was speaking to a member of the coaching staff. I can't say who he is. But last year they were trying their best to get O'Dowd more further forward.
Yeah, I think.
But because of injuries or suspensions or lack of form,
Constant have to play
they had
left
to
back.
play him left
Yeah.
back. And he is, when he gets forward, and you've seen at times when he does manage to get forward, he's got a great left foot. So I'd like to see him further forward. If
Right.
Callum Robinson stays fit, he'll get you 12, 15 goals.
Would you play Robinson as the 9, as the main central striker, or would you play him off a wing? So good to me.
I'd probably
Robinson and Carlin Grant are the 2 best finishers we got at the club at the moment. To me,
I'd go with Robinson up top.
that's what I think as well.
But I'd say to him, just play in between the penalty box.
Well,
Don't be going out to the
Yeah.
past the penalty box. So the width of the penalty box, that area, that's where I want you. Because if we do get crosses in, if we do get stuff, you need to be in there. When you're out dropping to the edge of the box, or say the halfway line, or going out to the past, near the touch line, there's no. What use is Callum Robinson there?
And the thing is, when you got Ramsey dropping in these little pockets of space, as well as the crosses coming in from the wingers, he'll slip in little balls behind the defence, and you need your striker ready to go there. And I think Robinson's good for. I think that's where I would have him. If it was me picking it, I would have O'Dowda on one wing, and I'd have Josh Bowler on the other wing, because I think the one thing we've lacked in recent years is just having out-and-out wingers and pace.
Yeah.
They just destroys teams. And then those wingers, if they cut in or they go on the outside, provide space for Aaron Ramsey to drift into. Whereas if we've got wingers who are just constantly cutting in and haven't got the pace to beat their fullbacks, Ramsey loses those pockets of space because it just becomes a bit. And if Robinson then drops
Ramsey,
in
I
deep,
think Ramsey, he'll only be effective if we have possession of the ball.
Yeah,
I think Aaron's days of closing people down and just running all over the place. But again, it doesn't. I mean, the manager's played a couple of systems this pre-season.
Yeah.
So he needs to be sure of which one suits him. I mean, it's going to be I know he's managing the Turkish league, but the Championship is a different animal altogether. Because like I said to you, it's every 3 or 4 days you've got a game.
Well,
so how you manage that workload and how you manage that team selection, I think if I looked at our team this year, I think defensively, in terms of defenders, I would have liked to see maybe 1 or 2 more come in. I would like to see another centre half to come in.
Definitely.
And possibly another holding midfielder to come in.
Yeah, there's a couple who were on freeze who I really would have liked to seen us go for. Oliver Norwood being one. I thought he was perfect to come in. He's got tremendous vision, but he works and he's aggressive, and he's got a bit of pace about him. So I'm big gutted. There was a few frees that we could have looked at, which I think would have helped us out. But yeah, central defender, I'm the same, because I think McGuinness has got a knock actually. So that Gutas who's come in, the centre back, he looks alright. He looks pretty good in pre-season, and I think it'll be him plus someone. I would think McGuinness.
So where's he played before?
In Turkey with the manager, I believe.
See, like I said, it's
different.
A baptism, like especially going to Leeds, Ellen Road. That's going to be a baptism of fire for players who haven't played in this league. But I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I think if the manager's got his backroom staff right, if he's got his preparation right, I think we'd all be happy with a draw. To the point, away at Leeds.
I do think there's an opportunity though, mate, because I think that Leeds side, I was surprised at how young it is. They're like 17 to 23-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's a big game. First game of the season after being relegated. There might be a little window for Cardiff to sneak something in. Like if we got an early goal from a set piece or whatever, they're gonna feel that. Young players 1-0 down. We just got relegated. First game of the season. Leeds fans
even if we
fractious.
kept it
tight till the end.
the hour.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have the Leeds fans who are going to start getting a little bit restless. Players, like you say, younger players there, they start taking an extra touch, getting a bit unsure about what they're doing. And like you say, breakaway goal and that. But I think we need goals from this year from a lot more people.
Yeah, there's a.
That's not
we've
just
suddenly got a bit of
rely
a
on
influx of wide players. Like you got that Mate from Reading, Carlin Grant's on loan. You've got Robinson's played there, O'Dowda.
Yeah.
And then you got this Ugbo, who I know people at the club were excited by when they signed him, but hasn't perhaps looked that great in pre-season.
Yeah.
But I don't think pre-season. I was just saying this last night on the show. Like pre-season doesn't mean anything because what as fans, we're watching it, and you could think, oh, this player, he's crap. He keeps cutting back, but the manager could have specifically be saying, right, in this game we're going to work on the wingers cutting back and the fullbacks overlapping, and they're trying to work on something specific. So the fans think the wingers have had a shit game, but they're doing what the manager's asked. So.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough ask, I think. And you need a little bit of luck as well, but it's whatever we predict now, this season is going to be a season of ups and downs, tears and laughter, and moments of joy, and moments of like head scratching, That's Cardiff City. I've been involved with the club 30 years now, and
always the same, isn't it?
you know, when I was playing, it was the same. You know, working there now, it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the beauty of watching Cardiff City, because you really don't know what's going to happen when you turn up.
It's never boring.
You never really know, you know. And like, there's some teams in that league that are just boring, and they just play to just get the draw. Cardiff City fans, particularly at home and away, won't let the team do that.
No.
And that increases pressure as well. But can some of these new players handle that pressure?
So I'm going to ask you a couple of sort of quick questions, just general ones, about the upcoming season and the Leeds game as well. So, who would you play against Leeds alongside, if we assume Wintour's going to be the holding midfielder, who would you play alongside him as the two behind Ramsey? We didn't even mention, I can never pronounce his name, Remo Hart, I don't know, Remo Hart. Didn't even mention him.
Did we?
No.
Okay. I'd go with probably, because it's an away game, I'd go for Romeo in there. Romeo Sires in there.
Interesting, I like that. Because I think he's a good footballer.
I think he gets, I mean, he's a Joe, it's a toss between him and Joe.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
for his experience, but I think we'll be doing they may have a lot of the ball, so Joe's great on the ball, but for me I think Romeo as well, maybe, you know, slightly younger, and I just think,
as well,
yeah, and I think when I've seen him playing there, he's looked really comfortable. So if you've got we will start with two sitters, there's no doubt, and it's just then, can we, when we get possession, how do we progress? You know, can we get the ball to Ramsey's feet if he plays? Can we get the wingers? It depends. It really, you don't know what the manager wants.
Yeah, it's
No,
interesting.
but I would probably start with, but then say the home game. If we're playing them at home, I'd probably go with Joe.
Yeah, because you're gonna have more of the ball then, aren't you?
Yeah.
And also, like, Romeo understands the defensive side as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I think I can see that. I think that's a pretty good shout. Do you think Kiefer Moore will sign on loan for Cardiff City?
I hope not, because on the last podcast I did, I slated him. I slated him.
Gonna play that clip now.
But he did. He did leave, didn't he?
Yeah, he left.
Did he leave after my podcast?
Yeah, you upset him and he went.
No, I think I was true when I said I think he was going.
Yeah, I think he.
I don't think he's going to come back.
Apparently, he's asked to come back. Apparently.
Who said that? The Echo.
No, I can't possibly tell you who said it.
He's asked to come back.
Supposedly, because Bournemouth have got a couple of strikers coming in.
Listen, if he does come back, I work down there. I might be interviewing him.
There we
So
go.
that'd be an interesting interview, wouldn't it?
Well,
Well,
I'll make
he's
sure I
gotta-
send him the clip of you slating him
That's
first.
fine. I'll just wear my big higher shoes that day.
Give
So
you a bit of a lift.
listen, it's all about opinions, and that
Yeah,
was my
of course it
opinion
is.
at the time. And
I think it's fair that
he does
had
want to
one
come
foot out
back.
the door.
He's probably going to put more pressure on himself coming back.
Yeah, I think
Because-
he'll want to play with Ramsey, won't he? I think that's probably a bit of the draw.
Possibly.
God, can you imagine that?
But it's
innit?
whether, I mean, whatever wages he's on at, because it'll be a loan,
Yeah.
the club would have to pay half his wages, so can they
Yeah.
afford that?
And they've signed. They seem to have signed a lot of forwards this year as well. So I don't know. I don't know where I see it. Do you think Cardiff will be top half, bottom half,
Mid-table.
right in the middle?
Slap in the middle.
Okay.
We'll flirt with the top 6 or 7,
Yeah.
but I also fear that we'll also flirt with the top bottom 6 as well, which, and this is nothing
In
against.
typical Cardiff fashion, that
Yeah,
isn't it?
but I
Give you a
think
bit of
we-
hope and
I
then
think-
take it away.
Yeah, I think, like I said to you, our first 4 or 5 games is a difficult start. Now we could get no points from them, or we could
Could fly.
fly. I mean, that's the thing. That's the beauty of watching Cardiff. A lot of people watch Cardiff City. You know, you go and watch someone like Preston. You know what you're going to get with Preston all the time. Just dogged. You're happy with a 0-0. Happy days. But it was Cardiff. The fans don't want that. They want to go for the win. Or if it's an away game like Leeds, they'll go and support the boys. There'll be a good crowd of Cardiff City supporters there. They'll go, and they'll go, we take a draw. Happy days. Back into Canton. And we're out.
Yeah. I think Cardiff will finish top 10 eventually. I think
Table.
a bit above, innit? I think. Come on. Man. No, I think we'll start. I think we'll have a bit of a ropey start, and then I think we'll build up a bit of momentum as the manager and the team finds his footing a bit.
It's important that the Salah, God rest his soul, that situation has been resolved.
Yeah.
And obviously the transfer window embargo now is
nearly done. January, you know.
So that's going to help as well.
And the other thing is, I do think, whatever you think about the board and the owner and stuff like this, if Cardiff are in 9th or 8th in January, they will back the manager. They will give him money, and they will try and get up.
The board, Vincent Tan and the board, have had so much stick off the fans, and sometimes rightly so, but he's always put his money in his pocket to give managers money for players.
Yeah.
You know, and
you've got to be realistic, haven't you? You're not going to just go and spend 7-8 million, or like the money we used to spend on when we signed Chopra and people like this. Just realistically, we're not going to spend that money at this time.
The wages have gone bonkers, the transfer fees have gone bonkers, but I think, you know, in the time that the board has been in charge there, okay, they will probably look at it and think maybe wrong managerial decisions.
Yeah.
But you look at so many clubs who are in this league or have gone down another division, whereas they haven't had someone to actually run the club. They've gone, you know, liquidation and stuff like that. So, you know, you've got to hold up your hand. Like anybody in a position of power, you do some things right, you don't. It's whether you learn from them. That's what I was saying about last year, is that the club needs stability in terms of you can't have 3 managers a season and not like realise the fact that you're in the bottom 3 at one stage.
Yeah. And you can't. That's part of the problem as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So guys, that's our Cardiff City preview, Leeds preview. Bit of a mixture. Derek thinks we're going to get relegated. I think we're going to be in the top 10. Nice one. Please do subscribe, like, share. Derek Brazil.
Thank you very much.
Showing this late, be the freak show. Call for your cum, I be checking through the peephole.